Hello, hello. Hey, all. What's up, Wing Chun? How's it going? First, as always, what's up, Losh? How you doing? Losh is mad that Wing Chun is always first. Yeah. Good job, Wing Chun. Are you secretly Lin for me? He's secretly me. Yeah, that's right. I am Wing Chun. I post early. I say hi to myself and everyone in the beginning of the stream. What's up, Sal? How's it going? Hey, Bigfoot. I'm glad you're here. Punctuality is important. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. I am always punctual, never late at all. What's up, Art Katie? How are you doing? What's up, Nikki? Good evening to you. What's up, Rude Noise? Wing Chun is more punctual than me. Not true. See, I start the stream, so I'm always first. I am glad to see you too. Rude Noise. You just made a badass ring? That's cool. Like, what's it made out of? Are you a ring maker? What's up, Neko-chan? How's it going? Hey, Benjamin. Excited for this chapter. Cool. Oh, did you guys... Okay, so... Remember we saw the So Hung Rong make Beggar's Chicken in the last chapter? Remember it's a chicken wrapped with mud and she cooked it? Yeah. So Losh sent me this. This is the modern version, okay, of Beggar's Chicken. You want to see? All right. How do I live screen? Give me a sec. All right. Can you see that? Let's watch together. This is Beggar's Chicken. Okay.
老刘吃嫩草，自己要趁早。想在家头烤架花几波，学会了3步就不会翻车。准备纸皮1个份，先用牙签炸99个口，方便入味。这一步很关键，腌制的辅料我打在了食品上头，切记内外都要涂抹均匀。腌制时间不能低于30分钟。鸡肚皮头可以放一些板栗、香菇、腊肉、豆干之类，味道更扎实。第2步包，先在鸡身上涂少许的蜂蜜和食用油，味道更好，而且烤熟后不会粘荷叶。要想鸡肉更嫩，可以包一次锅子黄梨，添加酒和一下，厚度不能低于10毫米，撒上一点透气孔，防止烤泥。第3步烤，普通菜盒烤2个小时，家里有烤箱的上下火200度。烤2个小时即可。想吃香一点的，可适当增加时间，巴适的板。老话说，老刘吃嫩。
You have to immobilize the chicken by poking his acupoints first? True. That's what he's doing. He's like, don't want the chicken to escape. You gotta immobilize it. There you go. How do you guys like that? It looks really good. All right. What was with the cat at the end there? You know what? Cats always make the video better. I need to put some cats in my videos. All right. Hey, what's up, Hope? How's it going? Oh, you missed the Beggar's Chicken. All right. Let's do Wordle. Yeah, Neko-chan likes cats. All right. Let's breeze through this, okay? I can do it. Easily. Less than 1 minute. What What is this? Must be two R here. Merit. Et. E-M. E-T. Ret. Ret. Met. Ermet. Meter. Meter. Oh my god. I'm so good. Ah, how was that? Was that less than a minute? What's up, Wang Hung Lo? How's it going? All right. Connections. Sometimes this is hard, sometimes it's easy. We got folk, warrior, coconut, tree, soulmate, rock, chair, bun, mountain, mustard, country, updo, sauerkraut, wallet, blues, brat. Brat. Oh, I think I got this. Yeah. Must be, right? Yeah, song genres, music genres. Easy. Okay. Next. Sauerkraut. Sauerkraut. Oh. Brat? Like bratwurst? Oh. Bun? Mustard. Things that have to do with hot dogs, no? Warrior. Yeah. Bratwurst go with. Okay, okay. Easy. All right. Now, mountain, soulmate, coconut, updo. Warrior, wallet, tree, chair? What? Mountain, soul. What does any of this have to do with each other? Mountain, soulmate, coconut. Soul, mountain, warrior. A warrior in the mountain. Mountains have trees. Chairs can be made from trees. Warrior, mountain, tree, chair. Soulmate. What? Soulmate. Mountain. Coconut. Wallet. Wallet. Wall. Wait. 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 All right. All right. Stick with me here, okay? What if it's Wallet, Wally, Pixar movies? Words from Pixar? Up? Coconut. Coco? Tree, chair, warrior, mountain, soulmate. Wait, Soul is a Pixar movie, right? Soul? It's gotta be. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's true. Starting with Pixar movies, guys. No, what are these? Warrior Mountain Tree Chair. Oh, yoga poses. Okay, I wouldn't know any of that. Guys, how did I guess this? This is so good. Guys. You gotta give me credit for this. All right. Last one. Oh, Hope, you do yoga? Is that how you know? All right, yoga. Pose. Food. Bratwurst. Mustard. Wrist. Wait, wrist. Whoa! Bigfoot. How did you know? Hand. Finger. Toe. Fingernail. Thumb. Oh! Oh, Bigfoot. Oh, you did. All right, we cheated. Bigfoot already did this. No, just kidding. We're good. We're so good today. We're on a roll. Jesus. I want to eat some bratwurst. What's up, Sunny Side Up? How's it going? New record? No. The new record was when we guessed the first time ever. On the first guess. All right. Today I have something that looks really good. Oh my god. Check it out. Oops. Yeah. It's chips. It's a 4-layered chip. Can you see? It's like a little square, but it has 4 layers of chips. Yeah. The crunch factor on this one's gonna be through the roof. I'm excited. Ooh, 4 layers. Can you see? Very crunchy. Oh, yep. All right, let's see. Mmm. Mmm. It's sour cream and onion. Seems. Mmm. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's a very clear sour cream and onion taste. Mm. It's not super crunchy. It is still crunchy. It's like an 8 out of the crunchiness out of 10. 8 out of 10. But it's 4 layers, so it's 32. Okay. It's a 32 out of 10. Oh, pretty good though. Oh no, it broke. There's only 1 layer. What's going on? False advertising. Hmm. Can you hear the crunch? Jesus. Okay. Oh, it's pretty good. I can give it a 8 out of 10. Do you guys eat Pringles one at a time or multiple at a time? I eat Pringles one at a time. I like to savor every single Pringle. Yeah. Sometimes I just like to lick it. I like to put it in my mouth and lick it. And just suck all of the flavor out of the Pringle and then eat the Pringle. The entire can at once. Oh, yeah? Eat them, then the can. Gotcha. Yeah, you can make a duck mouth and eat them all. I like to see that. All right, we have another snack. Okay, I am just full of snacks today. Check it out. Kind of like a mochi kind of thing. Square mochi. And it's blue. Okay. I don't know what flavor it is though. There's a rabbit on the wrapper. Maybe it's rabbit flavored? Blue rabbits? Let's see. Okay. Oh, so squishy. Woo. That's like a 9 out of 10 on squishiness. Woo. Oh, I like it. All right. I don't know what it is. Tastes kind of like soda. Maybe I'm just influenced by these pictures on the packet, the little soda bottles. What is mochito ramune? Ramune. Hold on, let me see. It's all right. It's like a 7 out of 10. Oh, it is soda. Okay, it's mochito soda instant mochi. Gotcha. Oh, you don't want to drink soda? Just eat this mochi, I guess. Oh, that one is the soda with the marble. Okay. I just realized you guys can't see my screen. Oh, it's this thing. Ah, so it is soda. Okay. It's not bad. That's a 7 out of 10, guys. Maybe a 7.1. All right. We just like breezed through the games. It was so fast today. Good job. All right, you ready? I have a feeling it's gonna be a good chapter today. Just a little feeling. All right. So what happened last week? Last week, if you remember, the parents of Yang Kang, okay, that's Yang Tiexin and Bao Xiru, they die together. Okay, and before he dies, Yang Tiexin says that he wishes for Guo Jing to marry his adopted daughter, Mu Nianzi. Now Guojing is kind of conflicted because he loves Huang Rong, okay? But he's already been promised to the Mongolian princess, and now he's forced to marry this other girl. Yeah, he doesn't like it. But so finally he tells everyone that he doesn't want to marry anyone except for Huang Rong. Now the Qiu Chuchi and the Six Freaks, they mad. Okay, they're saying like, oh, he doesn't care about his parents' promise or whatever. Also, Huang Rong is the daughter of Huang Yaoshi, who's the master of the Peach Blossom Island. Okay, and the Six Freaks, they have a grudge against him, so they also don't want Guo Jing to marry Huang Rong because of that. But just then, Huang Rong appears. All right, and she says that they should leave Guo Jing alone. Okay, she grabs him and she pulls him on her red-blooded horse and she rides away. They ride for a while, but Guo Jing has second thoughts and says that, maybe we should just confront my masters and tell them, I want to marry you. Okay, and she reluctantly agrees, and then they ride back, but then everyone had already left. And she's like, oh, that's okay. There's the meeting at the Mid-Autumn Festival in 6 months. And everyone already agreed to meet there at that time. Okay. And so like before there was this agreement to fight during the Mid-Autumn Festival. The 7 Taoist masters and the 6 freaks are on one side, and the martial artists of Wenyan Honglia, they're on the other side. Okay, they decide to duel during the Mid-Autumn Festival. So Guo Jing agrees. So in the meantime, they both go on adventures together. Okay, little cute adventures like swimming and climbing up a waterfall. The typical date things. Huang Rong cooks beggar's chicken. He cooks chicken by coating it with mud and roasting it. Okay, yeah. Apparently that was a thing, and I think that's where we stop. Okay, her cooking that chicken. How's that? All right, you all ready? All right, chapter 12, part 1. Repentance of the Haughty Dragon. Translation by Mojo Jojo. Thank God. Yeah, at least we can understand this translator. Huang Rong was on the point of cutting up the chicken when they heard a voice behind them. A third portion. I will take the tail portion. The 2 youngsters started. How had somebody been able to approach them without them realizing him being there? They turned and beheld a beggar, old but forceful. The man had a rectangular face, a goatee beard, and vigorous but rather massive limbs. His clothes, frayed on all sides, were however very clean. He held with one hand a green cane, made from translucent bamboo like jade, and carried on his back a large red gourd. He looked so greedy and impatient, one had the impression that if his portion were not given, he was going to seize some by force. Before the 2 young people had time to answer, he had already sat down in front of them. Without further ado, he took his water bottle and opened it, and a heady alcoholic perfume spread itself in the air. He gluttonously swallowed several mouthfuls before tightening the water bottle. He said to Guo Jing, "A drink, little urchin," said he, "with you." Guo Jing found the man rather impolite, but sensed distinctly that he was no ordinary individual, so he did not dare to show disrespect. "No, thank you," he said courteously. "I do not drink alcohol, but you doing so causes me no inconvenience." The beggar's here for his chicken. Yeah, it is beggar's chicken. Like, he made it for me. And you, little girl, asked the beggar of Hong Rong, do you drink? Hong Rong shook her head. Suddenly, she saw that the hand which held the water gourd had only 4 fingers. The index had been severed at the root. She started and thought of the conversation between the Taoists and the odd ones, whom she had overheard behind the window of the inn the other day. The odd ones are the 6 freaks, right? Concerning the divine beggar with the 9 fingers. Would this be a stroke of luck? She wondered. That we fall thus by chance on that elder one? Let us try to probe him a little. The eyes of the beggar were fixed on the chicken held in his hand, and he salivated with greediness. She could not stop secretly laughing. Okay, so is this the divine beggar? Ah, they meet one of the one of the best martial artists already. He then cut out the bird into 2, and the tail portion was tended to him. Captivated, the beggar seized some and took a full bite. While devouring it, he did not cease praising. Delicious! Delicious! Even I, who am the ancestor of all the beggars, I could not improvise such a delicious beggar's chicken. He's the ancestor of all the beggars. Hong Rong traced a smile and tended the other piece to him. But no, protested the beggar. You have not eaten yet, you all. His attempt at manners was in vain, purely for form's sake, as that did not prevent him from seizing what was offered to him. In a flash, there remained nothing any more but bones. He tapped his belly then and exclaimed, Ah, my belly, my belly. Hasn't it been a long time that you have been starved of such a good chicken? Hong Rong burst out laughing. By the greatest good chance, I prepared a beggar's chicken, and here it has entered the majestic belly of the ancestor of the beggars. It's a true honor. The beggar burst out laughing. Little girl, you are quite brave. He withdrew from his pocket several gilded projectiles. Yesterday, he explained, I saw several individuals brawling. The missiles which one of them launched shone like gold. I was the one who benefited from it. I took some of them. In fact, inside it is cheap metal, but outside, to look good, it is genuine gold. Hold, little urchin, take them and have fun. Where necessary, you can draw some funds from them. Guojing shook his head. We regard you as a friend, and when one invites a friend to eat, one does not accept gifts in payment. In doing so, he honored the rules of hospitality of the Mongols. The beggar, feeling thwarted, scraped his head. But then, I am also embarrassed. I have no troubles begging for scraps from people, but today you provided me such a good chicken, such a benefit that I cannot return it. That. Why speak about benefit and repayment for such a small chicken? Guojing said. And to be honest, we stole this chicken too. We took this chicken in passing, confirmed Hong Rong. You ate it while you passed here. Very well done. The beggar still burst of laughing. He burst of laughing, guys. You too, said he. Funny enough. I like you well. Good. If you have a wish to formulate, tell it to me. All right. I think Mojo Jojo is losing his mojo, isn't he? What is wrong with him? He used to be better. He's going downhill. Guojing, understanding that he proposed to help them, which again infringed the rules of hospitality, shook his head again. But Hong Rong intervened. In fact, this beggar's chicken is really not a great thing. I have other small favorite dishes that I would readily make for you to taste. Why won't you come with us? Oh, splendid! Exclaimed the beggar, enchanted. Splendid! What is your honorable name? Asked Guojing. My name is Hong, the beggar, and as I am the 7th in my fraternity, you can call me Qigong, the 7th elder. It is indeed him, Hongrong said. The divine beggar with the 9 fingers. But it seems to be younger than the Taoist master Chu. Oh, he's pretty young then. How could he be a contemporary of the master of the Chenjin 7? Actually, my dad himself isn't old, but yet he is a peer of Qigong. That must be explained by the incompetence of these 7 old Taoists who wasted their time. She always held some resentment against Chu Chuchi for his having wanting to force Guo Jing to marry Mu Nianzi. They went towards the south and arrived in a small town where they took a room in an inn. I'll go to the market, said Hongrong. You men, it's better for you to rest a little. Isn't she your little wife? Asked Qigong of Guo Jing while watching her depart with a smile. The young man reddened, not daring to agree nor to disagree. Qigong burst out laughing and started to drowse on a chair. More than 1.5 hours later, Hongrong returned finally and settled in the kitchen. Guo Jing wanted to help her, but the girl closed the door while laughing. Another half an hour passed. Qigong yawned, stretched, and inhaled deeply. That smells jolly good, he said. But what could that be? Well, it's odd. He stretched his neck, trying to look through the door of the kitchen. Looking at him, both impatient and greedy, Guo Jing could not stop himself from secretly laughing. Delicate aromas emerged from the kitchen, but Hongrong remained always invisible. Qigong did not hold still anymore. He scratched his head, rubbed his cheeks, rose, sat down, stood up, as if he were on burning coals. I am like that, he confided in Guo Jing. I have this unpleasant vice of greediness. When I think of eating, I forget everything else. He tightened his right hand and showed his 4 fingers. The old man said, The index finger moves because of greediness. It was completely true. Each time I see or feel a dish that is original or exquisite, the index of my right hand cannot prevent itself from quivering. Once, because of my greediness, I ruined an extremely important business. Then I was so much in anger against myself that, with a blow of a knife, I sliced off my index finger. Guo Jing started, but Qigong sighed. But I cut off my finger in vain, because my gluttony remained. At this time, Hongrong entered, smiling, carrying a large wooden plate, which she poised on the table. On the plate, there were 3 bowls of white rice. In Chinese, the index finger is called the eating finger. Gotcha. Okay, that's why I cut it. On the plate, there were 3 bowls of white rice, a cup of wine, and 2 large bowls containing the principal dishes. Guo Jing felt a delicious aroma, extremely appetizing, escaping. In one of the large bowls were laid out the beef stick roasts, which, apart from their odor, did not seem exceptional. The other contained a clear soup, the color of jade, in which floated many red cherries and 10 pink petals. On the bottom lay young, fresh bamboo shoots. The association of the 3 colors, red, white, and green, formed a multicolored whole that was extremely pleasant to the eye. The sense of smell was also engaged because the soup emitted a delicate scent of lotus. Yes, it looks like she's a really good cook. Hongrong poured wine in the cup, which she placed in front of Qigong while smiling. Qigong, taste my dishes and tell me what you think of them. Huang didn't need to be told twice. Without even drinking the wine, he brandished his chopsticks and seized 2 meat sticks that he engulfed voraciously. An exquisite taste filled his mouth. This was not merely beef. Whenever he chewed, different sensations struck him, sometimes an oily and juicy flavor, sometimes a succulent freshness. Scents succeeded themselves in complex and unpredictable variations, like the blows of a martial arts expert. That's a fight happening in his mouth. Startled and delighted, Qigong examined the sticks more closely and saw that each of them was formed by 4 small, different, intertwined sticks. He shut his eyes to savor the taste better. He said. There is mutton thigh on one stick, another of pig ears of milk, a third one of calf kidney, the last one. If you guess, said Huang Rong with a grin, you're really fantastic. She had barely finished her sentence before Qigong cried, Deer thigh mixed with rabbit. Bravo, applauded the girl. Well guessed. Guojing was completely stunned. These meat sticks needed so much work, he said to himself. And Qigong is truly astonishing to have known to distinguish the 5 different meats. There are only 5 meat types, Qigong went on, but the blend of pork and mutton gives a certain taste. The deer with beef, another. How many variations there is in all, that I wouldn't like to say. If one does not count the order of the variations, said Huang Rong with a smile, there are some 25. Corresponding to the 5 times 5 petals of the plum flower. As the meat stick resembles a flute, then this dish has a name. It is called Plum Flowers Fall to the Jade Flute's Song. The that in the question means that there is a placement sort to the test. Qigong, you passed the test. You are the champion of all the gourmets. Bravo, the beggar cried to himself. No one knew whether he applauded the name of the dish or his own skillfulness in discerning the tastes. Then he placed 2 cherries in a spoon and said while laughing, Ha ha, this bowl of lotus leaf soup with those bamboo sprouts and cherries is so pretty to look at. One regrets almost to have to eat it. He swallowed and cried, Ah! Then he said to himself, astonished, Eh? He took 2 more and exclaimed again, Ah! The freshness of the leaf of lotus, the taste of the bamboo sprouts, sweetness of the cherries, all that, obviously, leapt to the taste buds. But what's more, the cherries, after having been pitted, had been stuck something. In the cherries, said Qigong while hesitating. What is there? He closed his eyes again, trying to recognize the taste. This is lark's meat, he mumbled to himself. No, if this is not partridge, this is turtle dove. Yes, that's it. This is turtle dove. He opened his eyes, saw that Huang Rong raised her thumb, and was all to trust to have found. So, what's the complex name of this soup, with lotus leaves, bamboo sprouts, cherries, and turtle dove? Elder, said Huang Rong, you haven't mentioned one more ingredient. Ah, yes, Hong said, astonished. He regarded the soup again. Yes, he agreed. There are these flower petals. Exactly, confirmed Huang Rong. The name of this soup, can you imagine it from these 5 ingredients? If this is a riddle game, I declare I've lost. Tell me quickly. I'll give you a clue, said Huang Rong. It suffices you to think about the Book of the Odes. Ah, no, Qigong protested. I know nothing in the books. The flower hints at a beauty's complexion, explained Huang Rong. The cherries to her small mouth. The cherries to her small mouth. Isn't that right? Ah, this is therefore beauty's soup? No, said Huang Rong while shaking her head. The bamboo is a symbol of modesty. It therefore characterizes a gentleman, just as the lotus is the most eminent of the flowers. Thus, bamboo and lotus relate to a gentleman. Oh, said Qigong. This is therefore the gentleman and beauty's soup. What about the turtle dove? Said Huang Rong. Indeed, all these elements meet again in the first poem of the Book of the Odes, that finishes thus. The gentleman is in good company. Thus, this soup is called the soup of good company. Qigong burst out laughing. Yeah, did you guys get that? I got none of that. Bigfoot, you hate her right now? Wait, why? Qigong burst out laughing. Ha ha ha! Since there is such a complex and strange soup, It's good that it has such a complex and strange name. Very well, very well. You're a complex and strange little one yourself. I would like to know which complex and strange father that sired you. In any case, this soup is truly exquisite, much better tasting than the soup with cherries that I ate approximately 10 years ago in the kitchen of the Imperial Palace. You have a pass to the Imperial kitchen? Asked Hongrong. Tell me and see if I'll try to prepare something that will please you just as well. Qigong devoured, literally, and didn't have time to reply. He halted himself when he had reached the bottom of the bowls. Bigfoot, you're a bit hangry? Grab something to eat. In the Imperial kitchen, he explained, there are lots of good things, of course, but nothing is worth the 2 dishes that here, if there is a 5 flavored slices of mandarin duck. That was delicious, but I don't know how it was prepared. And it was the Emperor that invited you? Asked Guojing. Absolutely, said Qigong while laughing. The Emperor treated me, but he didn't know that. I lived hidden on a big beam of the Imperial kitchen for 3 months while tasting each of the dishes intended for the Emperor. If I found it to my taste, I kept it for me. Otherwise, I left it to him. The cooks believed that there were ghosts. Okay. He was hiding in the Imperial kitchen, stealing the foods for the Emperor. For 3 months. This person is really excessively greedy, thought Guojing and Hongrong to themselves. But he is also insanely audacious. Little chap, said Qigong while laughing. Your little girlfriend is the best cook in the world. Your happiness is assured. Goodness, why didn't I meet such a woman when I was young? He seemed sincerely sorry. Hongrong, with a hint of a smile, prepared the remainder for Guojing and for her. 1 bowl of rice was more than enough for her, while the young man put away 4 big bowls. As for the exquisite placement, it did not seem to make a difference to him. Qigong shook his head while sighing. Like a bull chewing on peonies. What a shame, what a shame. Hongrong put a hand in front of her mouth to prevent herself from laughing. Bulls, do they like peonies? Guojing asked himself. There are many bulls in Mongolia, but no peonies. Then indeed, I have never seen bulls eating peonies. But why does he keep saying, what a shame? Qigong patted his stomach and said, Good. You are both practitioners of the martial arts. I clearly saw that right away. The little one that went to such trouble to prepare such exquisite dishes for me certainly has bad intentions, such as, for instance, to persuade me to give you some instruction. Is that not correct? Good, I recognize that. After having so well eaten, I would have scruples to leave me without giving something in return. Come with me. He took up his gourd, his bamboo cane, and went out. Yeah, the Hongrong is smart. She cooked for him so that he could teach Guojing some martial arts. Guojing and Hongrong followed until they reached outside of town. What do you like? What would you want to learn? Qigong demanded of Guojing. Martial arts are so varied, said the young man to himself. If I want to learn something, how is he sure that he'll be able to teach it to me? While he reflected, Hongrong had begun to speak. Qigong, his kung fu is inferior to mine, and so he gets angry often, because he's always trying to beat me. When do I get angry? Protested Guojing. Hongrong glanced at him, telling him to be quiet. Ha ha ha, for my part, said Qigong while laughing. I have the impression that all his movements are firm and assured. That means that it has a good basis of Neigong. How would he be inferior to you? Good. Why don't you match skills a little? Hongrong moved aside some steps and cried, My Jing, come on. Guo Jing hesitated again. If you don't show what you're capable of, said Huang Rong, how do you expect this elder to correct you? On guard! She jumped on him and attacked with a palm stroke. Guo Jing blocked the blow, but she had already changed tactics and attacked with a kick. Well done, little one, Qigong said. Pretty blow. Fight seriously, advised Huang Rong in a low voice. Guo Jing himself concentrated and executed conscientiously the powerful southern mountain palm taught by Nan Shiren. Huang Rong defended herself nimbly, jumping upwards and downwards. Then suddenly she modified his technique and executed the palm of the divine sword falling the hero, created by her father. This palm technique resembled its name, divine sword, for it was adapted from a sword technique. She shook her arms in all directions. Her opponent was encircled by the palm shadows, incapable of determining if they were feigned or real. It was as though the wind had gotten up in the wood of fishings. Wait. The wind had got up in the wood of fishings? Dropping 1,000 flowers. I have no idea. The beauty of the gestures resided in their lightness and their aerial grace, so well that Huang Rong resembled a butterfly taking flight. As her Neigong lacked again power, its blows were not as violent and also as terrifying as they should have been. It was of little importance, for Guo Jing, stunned by the multiplicity of the shadows in front of his eyes, had lost all means to resist. In a few seconds, he received 4 palm blows on the 2 shoulders, on his chest, and on his back. But he was not injured. Injured, since Huang Rong had not struck with force. She stepped back with a smile. Well done, Ronger, Guo Jing exclaimed in genuine admiration. What a beautiful palm demonstration. Your father is so powerful, said Hong in an icy voice. Why do you want me to give lessons to this simple-minded one? Huang Rong was startled. According to father, she said to herself, since he created this palm of the divine sword falling the hero, he not some again never is served himself. What? I need a translator for this translator. He not some again never is served himself. He never used it himself. Oh, he never used it in public? How did the Venerable Seventh recognize it? Qigong, she demanded, you know my father? Indeed. He is the Eastern heretic, and I, the Northern beggar. Don't you think that we lacked occasions to match skills? He matched blows with father, Huang Rong said to herself, and managed to survive. That's really astonishing. Now I understand how the Northern beggar can be ranked alongside the Eastern heretic. Okay, so Qigong actually fought with her father. And how did you recognize me? She demanded again. Just look at yourself in a mirror, replied Hong. Your nose and your eyes, are they not even as those of your father? At first, I did not think about it. I felt only that your face appeared familiar. But next, your demonstration unveiled the jar to the roses. You believe that this old beggar does not recognize the Gong Fu of the Peach Blossom Isle? Even if I had never seen his palm, I doubted myself well that alone a crafty fellow as your dad would have been able to invent it. And the names of your 2 dishes, what were they? Plum flowers fall at the jade flute's song, and the soup of good company. It was doubtless your dad that invented them. She said her father never used it in a fight with anyone since he created it. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. You really can read minds, said Huang Rong while laughing. Then, according to you, my dad is very strong. Isn't that right? Of course he is powerful, said Qigong coldly. But he is not the most powerful in all the world. Then surely you're the most powerful in this world, Hongrong exclaimed while applauding. Not necessarily, Qigong said. 20 years ago, we met, all 5 of us. The Eastern Heretic, Western Venom, Southern Emperor, Northern Beggar, and Central Divine at the summit of Huashan to match ourselves. Hey, Mount Huashan. The confrontation lasted 7 days and 7 nights. Finally, Central Divine revealed himself to be the most powerful, and we all gladly recognized it. Who then is this Central Divine? Asked Hongrong. Your father never told you? No. Father said that in the martial arts world, there are more bad things than good, and that there was no point for girls of good family to speak. Then it about it speaks me. Huh? And then after, he scolded me very strongly. He didn't love me anymore, so then I ran away, and he didn't want anything to do with me. Her eyes fell, her face was sad. Bah, that old monster, Qigong swore. What? I won't allow you to insult my father, Hongrong exclaimed. What a pity that I was always too poor, exclaimed Qigong, all laughing. Ha ha ha. No one ever wanted to marry me. Otherwise, I would have liked a kind girl like you. I would have a kind girl like you, and never would I have left you. Indeed, said Hongrong while bursting out laughing. If I left, what would you do to eat? Fair enough, Qigong agreed with a sigh. Well, to answer your question, the Central Divine is Wang Chongyang, the master of the Chenjin sect. But after his death, it is difficult to say who's the world's most powerful. The Chenjin sect? Hongrong said. There is a fellow called Qiu, another called Wang, and yet another called Ma. They are all of the Taoist obtuse one, but I find their Gong Fu rather pathetic. They fought with people, and in 2 times 3 movements did to spread themselves. What? Ah, yes. They were doubtless disciples of Wang Chongyang. It seems that, among his 7 disciples, Chu Chuchi is the most powerful. But it is certain that they are not even close to their martial uncle, Zhou Bo Tong. Upon hearing this name, Hongrong was startled. She was about to say something, then stopped herself. Upon hearing this name, Hongrong was startled. She was about to say something, then stopped herself. Guo Jing, who was himself just satisfied to listen to their conversation, interrupted. It's true. Master Ma said that they had a martial uncle, but he did not mention the name of this Taoist master. Zhou Bo Tong is not a Taoist, Qigong replied. He is a secular person, who was personally taught by his martial brother, Wang Chongyang. I say, my simple-minded one, you seem me well clumsy. That's your father-in-law, so fine, so crafty. Really appreciate you. What? Guo Jing, who had never thought he had a father-in-law, stammered, without knowing how to reply. My father is yet to see him again, said Hongrong, smiling. If you could be kind enough to give him some pointers, then, thanks to you, my dad will have some appreciation for him. Little rogue, Qigong grumbled, who has learned not even a tenth of her father's Gong Fu, but who has inherited all his trickery and cleverness. I don't like your flattery and your toadying. And also, I never take disciples. Who wants a stupid one like that? To leave you, that seems to consider it as a treasure. You plan to get me to teach your little dumb husband. Ha! This old beggar would not fall for such a trap. Hongrong bowed her head, red to the forehead. She never had not applied to learn the martial arts. Her father himself was so strong, she didn't learn seriously of him? Why would she want to learn from Qigong? Only to see that the Gong Fu of Guo Jing was not up to the mark, that his 6 Shifu considered her to be a little witch, she rejoiced at having met such a master as Qigong, hoping that he would accept passing on a little bit of his knowledge to his well-loved one, so that in front of his masters and in front of Chu Chu Chi's Taoist, Guo Jing would not have to be scared, like a mouse in front of the cats. Now Qigong was very greedy and always grinning, but he was not stupid, and he had seen through her act all along. The old beggar, muttering to himself, left without a backwards glance. He just left. What do you guys think of Hong Qigong, the northern beggar? Seems like a cool guy. It's pretty funny. The 2 young people stood silently for a long moment. Wronger, Guo Jing finally said. This elder has a rather original character. Hong Rong heard a slight rustle in the foliage above their head and realized that Qigong had done a big turn before returning discreetly to the top of the tree. He's a really kind person, she said then, and his Gong Fu is much stronger than my father's. She's still flattering him because she knows he's listening. He hasn't shown his skills, Guo Jing wondered aloud. How do you know that? My dad told me so. What exactly did he say? He said that in today's world, there was only one person who could beat him, and that was the divine 9-fingered beggar, Hong Qigong. Unfortunately, as this elder is always by mounts and by his worth. What? He has seldom had the occasion to see him and exchange pointers. In fact, after he had moved away, Qigong had deployed his incomparable Qinggong and had returned to the top of the tree, high above the heads of the young people. He wanted to hear their conversation and to assure himself that they had not been sent by Hong Yaoxi to steal his skills. The words of Hong Rong filled him with pride. So, he said to himself, Hong Yaoxi never wanted to accept my superiority, but deep within himself he admires me nonetheless. How could he have guessed that it was all pure and simple invention from the girl? I didn't learn great things from my father, Hong Rong went on, but that's my fault. I enjoyed having fun too much and never wanted to apply myself. Now, having had the fortune to meet Elder Hong, if he had wanted to give me some lessons, that would have been again better than with my father. What a shame I offended him without wanting to. And she herself started to sob. At first she pretended, and Guo Jing tried to console her with softness. Then she thought about the death of her mother, the intransigence of her father, and started to truly weep. Qigong atop his tree, in was all returned one. What? Yeah, French translation. French translation. Huang the Alchemist. So did Mojo Jojo translate this from French? So it went from Chinese to French and then to English. Maybe that's the problem. Qigong atop his tree, in was all returned one. What? Even so, even if it was translated by through French, it doesn't excuse this. It's not excusable, guys. In was all returned one. I heard father say, continued Hong Rong while sobbing, that Elder Hong had an exceptional skill, of incomparable power, of which even Wang Chongyang was afraid. It's called... How was it called? I can't remember. Anyways, I had it on the tip of my tongue all the time. I wanted to beg him to teach it to you. It's called... Indeed, she not some knew nothing, and talked big progressively. I see, did she? Hearing her hesitate, searching without finding, Qigong could not hold back, and cried while jumping to the foot of the tree, "That is called the Dragon Mastering 18 Palms." Guojing and Hongrong bounded up in surprise. One's surprise was real, the other's was feigned. "Ah, Qigong!" Hongrong cried. "How did you get up in the tree? By flying?" "Yes, that's it. The Dragon Mastering 18 Palms. Exactly. How could I have forgotten it? Father often told me that the Gong Fu that he admired the most in the world was the Dragon Mastering 18 Palms." Qigong was delighted. "Then your dad knows what the truth is. I believe that, after the death of Wang Chongyang, he considered himself to be the most powerful in the world." He turned towards Guojing. "Indeed, your Gong Fu isn't inferior to that of your little friend. The problem is that your palm technique is not all up to the mark. Good, granddaughter. You return to the inn." He gets the martial arts lesson, guys. Hongrong realized that he was going to give a lesson to Guojing, and she went away, all satisfied. Qigong addressed Guojing solemnly. "You will kneel down and promise me, without my permission, you must not transmit my Gong Fu to anyone else, even to your crafty little woman." Guojing was greatly embarrassed. "If Ronger insists that I teach her," he said to himself, "how could I refuse?" "Qigong," he says then, "I do not want to learn anymore. So what if she is stronger than me?" "And why?" asked Qigong. "If she wants me to teach her, I cannot refuse without offending her, and I cannot accept without offending you." "Ha ha ha! Simple-minded though you are," said Qigong while laughing. "You have a good heart, and you speak straight. That is good. Very well. I will teach you a stroke called Resisting the Dragon Meets Regret." The original French translation is The Inflexible Dragon Repents. Okay. Yeah, he definitely translated this from French. I would imagine that Huang Yaoshi has enough pride that he won't. Although he would crave to copy my superior skills. In any case, our schools are completely different. I cannot learn his kung fu. He cannot learn mine. At that, he bent his left knee, pivoted, and straightened his arm, made a circle with the upright hand, and pushed outwards with the other. His palm touched the great pine, and crack! Its trunk broke. Guojing stood petrified, shocked by the power contained in this blow. "This tree cannot move," said Qigong. "If it was human, it would obviously try to avoid the blow. The difficulty of this technique is precisely to strike so that your opponent cannot, no matter what, avoid it. So well that once you land your blow, crack, the enemy will collapse like this pine." He repeated the demonstration twice, explaining in detail how to concentrate and project the internal energy. It was only one stroke, but the lesson took more than an hour. Guojing was not clever, but he had a good basis in Neigong, and to learn moves such as this, made with simple movements but having unequaled power, suited him perfectly. He trained conscientiously, and at the end of 2 hours had grasped the majority of this technique. "In that little imp's technique," said Qigong, "there are many more feints than real attacks. If you try to follow her, she will run around you like you were a donkey, and you will always fall, since you never will be able to be as quick as her. You will think that, after all these feints, the next blow will be real. But no, it will be a feint, And the blow following that, you will believe that it is a feint, but no, she will strike a real blow, and you will be in big trouble. Guojing nodded his head in agreement. Thus, to fight her, the clever way is to completely put the thought of whether it is a feint or not, out of your mind. When she attacks you with a palm blow, whether it is a feint or not, return it with a blow of opposing the dragon meets regret. Against the power of your attack, she will be forced to withdraw and defend herself, so well that all her tricks falls to water. And after that? Asked Guojing. What do you mean, and after that? Qigong replied, his face suddenly darkening. You great idiot! Do you think she is able to withstand this blow that I taught you? But if she can't withstand it, said Guojing, very worried, won't she be injured? Qigong shook his head and sighed. Hey, if in such a blow one seeks only to send out the force and not keep it, if one cannot somehow control its lightness or its power, firmness or softness, how can one consider himself a master of these unique 18 dragon mastering palms? Guojing was eager to consent, but he had taken an inner decision. As I haven't learned to control my force perfectly, I won't fight with Rong-er. You don't believe me? Said Qigong. In that case, try it. Guojing took up position, imitating his senior's posture, picked a pine with a particularly slender trunk, and he struck it a violent blow. The pine was a little shaken, but not at all itself broken. You big idiot, Qigong said. Why are you shaking this pine tree for? To catch squirrels? Or to drop pine cones? Guojing, red with shame, laughed with an air of denial, not knowing what to reply. I already repeated it for you, said Qigong. It is necessary to put the opponent in a position such that it cannot back up or get away. Your blow just now had enough force, but all it needed was for the pine to shake itself a little bit for it to escape the full force. It is necessary that you learn to approach and strike in such a way that the tree cannot budge in order to be able to break it at one go. This was for Guojing an illumination. Then, he cried joyously, it's necessary for the force to be particularly swift, delivered in such a way that the opponent has no time to defend himself. Qigong shot him a black look. Absolutely, that goes without saying. You sweated blood for such a long time, and you only now understand this truth? One really can say that you aren't clever. For this stroke, known as resisting the dragon meets regret, its essence is not found in the word resisting, but rather in the word regret. If one concentrated only on pure violence, brute force, a little force in the muscles would suffice. But then, how could this technique be admired by Huang Yaoshi? As the old saying goes, the inflexible dragon itself repent. The surplus will not last a long time. Wait, what? This is the reason that if there has transmission, there must be retention. When you send out a force of 10, it is necessary again to preserve within yourself a force of 20. The day where you will know to appreciate the full meaning of the concept regrets, then you will be able to consider that you have understood 30% of this stroke. Just as a fine old wine that has had time to season. At first taste, it is not strong, but afterwards, it releases its full heady flavor. That explains the concept of regret. Guojing didn't understand anything about these matters. It's okay, Guojing, me neither. But he tried to memorize them, in order for him to calmly reflect upon them later. To learn the martial arts, he always had adopted the same method. That which others may assimilate in a morning, I will devote 10 days. He's a hard worker, guys. Then he concentrated on the study of the palm technique. At first, the pine balanced itself to each of the blows that it received. Towards the end, these became more and more powerful, but the tree moved less and less. He realized that he had progressed and rejoiced somewhat. The face of his palm had become red and swollen, but he did not treat it and continued to train with determination, never relaxing. Qigong, who had initially laughed at his persistence, had stretched himself on the ground and snored calmly. Little by little, Guojing felt more comfortable. He attained a mastery of his energy, to carry the blow and to keep it. He brought up his breath into his dantian, advanced his palm violently, withdrawing his force immediately, so well that the tree did not move at all. Delighted, the young man repeated in the same way while concentrating his force on the edge of his palm. He heard a creak, and the small pine broke apart. Woo! Yay! Bravo! Cried Huang Rong, who had seen the scene from a distance. She approached slowly, carrying a heavy shopping basket. Before even opening his eyes, Qigong had smelled the delicious aroma of the food that she had brought. That feels good! That feels good! He cried while jumping to his feet. He seized the basket from the girl's hands and opened the lid. He beheld a dish of roasted frog thighs, a very fat duck suited to the 8 treasures, and a big bowl of white and immaculate money noodles. With joyful cries, he pounced on the foods, not drying up any praises on this that it devoured to beautiful teeth. Okay. Need a translator. Not drying up any praises on this that it devoured to beautiful teeth. But, as his mouth was full, one couldn't understand anything he said. In an instant, the bowls containing the frog thighs and the duck were emptied. Realizing that Guojing again had not eaten, the old beggar felt a little ashamed of his gluttony. Go on, eat up, he says. These noodles aren't bad. And as he felt really bothered, he added, They are even better than the duck. Hong Rong laughed and said, Qigong, you haven't yet tasted my best dishes. Surprised and delighted, the old beggar eagerly asked, What dishes? What dishes? You can't name them all, replied Hong Rong. For example, returned cabbage in the wok, steamed tofu, hard eggs, roasted meat. As a well-informed gourmet, Qigong knew well that it was in the most simple dishes that the true masters really showed their talents. The same applied to martial arts. Wondrous execution of the most simple techniques. That was the hallmark of the great masters. These words of Huang Rong delighted him, therefore, so well that his face itself was almost imploring. Good, good, he said. I always said that you were a brave little girl. Do you want me to buy you cabbage and tofu, please? It is not worth your while, said Hong Rong while laughing. And then what you will buy will not suit me necessarily. Fair enough, said Qigong. None other than you can choose your ingredients. Just now, Hong Rong said again, I saw him break the trunk of a pine. He's already more powerful than me. Not at all, Qigong protested, shaking his head. He isn't up to standard at all. It's necessary that the point the trunk breaks be perfectly neat. Look, it's all twisted, like a saw's teeth. What pathetic gong fu. And then this pine is as slender as a stick. No, as slender as a toothpick. This kid isn't up to the mark at all. But if he attacks me with his palm, objected Hong Rong, I will not be able to defend myself. This is all your fault. If he bullies me later, what will I do? Qigong, who wanted to get back into her good books, did not want to keep annoying her, even though he clearly saw that she was being duplicitous. So, what, according to you, must I do? Teach me a skill with which I can beat him. After that, I'll cook for you. Very well, we're agreed. They're just extracting all the martial arts from this guy. He learned only a single blow. It's easy to beat him. I will teach you a fist technique called wandering strides. No sooner had he finished speaking than he rose to his feet to demonstrate. He jumped to the right and to the left with grace and nimbleness, while his big sleeves flew away. Huang Rong, not some lost a crumb. What? Huang Rong did not lose a crumb, and silently memorized every movement. When the old man had finished the complete chain, she had already half learned it. After she was given all the supplementary indications, it didn't take 2 hours for the girl to execute perfectly the 36 movements of the wandering strides. At last, she executed the skill at the same time as Qigong. They themselves tinned coast to coast and sprang in concert, the one to the right, the other to the left, twirling as a jade swallow and a great eagle gliding in the skies. At the end of the 36 movements, they landed on their feet at the same time, regarding each other, and burst into laughter, while Guo Jing applauded vigorously. "Ha ha ha! This little one is 100 times more intelligent than you," said Qigong to Guo Jing. "So many movements and variations," marveled the latter while scratching his head. "How did she learn it so quickly? And how does she manage to not forget? Me, when I remember the second movement, I've already forgotten the first one." Guo Jing's pretty self-confident, considering all the insults he gets. I think he's pretty much accepted his slowness. Yeah. Qigong burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha! Indeed, you absolutely cannot learn this wandering strides. Even if you memorize the steps, you are incapable, in the practice, to produce the spirit of striding. Executed so painstakingly and clumsily, this fist technique would become a real chore." Tin rent appears to be a French word. Oh. Yeah, he's totally... Okay, so he's using a French translation. You got a point, conceded Guo Jing while laughing. "This wandering strides," Qigong said, "is a gongfu that I practiced in my youth. I have brought it out again to match the direction of the original gongfu of the little one. Indeed, it doesn't correspond to the martial arts that I use currently. Thus, I myself haven't used it once during the last 10 years. He wanted to mean that the wandering strides was a lot less powerful than the 18 dragon mastering palms. Hongrong was delighted. "Qigong, if I beat him again, he'll surely be unhappy, so teach him again some blows." She herself had no real intention to learn. It was only a pretext to push the old beggar to give more lessons to her lover. If she really had wanted to obtain martial arts, she had at her disposal a great master in the person of her father, of which she not never all could have learned. "This dumb kid," said Qigong. "He hasn't even fully digested the single blow that I taught him. Who two kisses poorly embraces? It suffices that you prepare me a lot of dishes, and I will grant all your wishes." "Very well," said Hongrong, smiling. "Then I leave for the market." Food really is his weakness. True. Yeah. He's a strong guy, but he has one major weakness. All right. Good time for a break as she leaves for the market. All right, 5-minute break. I'll be right back. Whoops. Did I switch to the wrong screen? Ha 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 ha. That could have been bad. Luckily, nothing inappropriate happened. All right. Alright, so Qigong is just teaching our hero Guojing a bunch of martial arts. Well, one. He'll do more. Yeah, lucky for him. He's learning from one of the best martial artists in the world. Qigong laughed heartily and himself returned to the hostelry. The inn? Leaving Guojing alone in the pine wood, where he returned to training with determination late into the night. That night, Huang Rong indeed prepared a cabbage dish and a plate full of tofu for Qigong. Good thing it wasn't a classic pantsless stream. Yeah, thank God. Would have been bad. Would not have been good. Yeah, you know what I'm scared of? Like, I'm scared of one day. I'm gonna do a stream and then we're gonna just lose that VOD. Yeah, because I don't know, just some technical issue or I don't know, some copyright issue or something. We'll just lose that VOD. And then in the playlist, there'll just be one missing video. And we can't do it again. Like, I can't read the chapter again, right? Yeah. So hopefully that doesn't happen. It hasn't happened yet. That night, Huang Rong indeed prepared a cabbage dish and a plateful of tofu for Qigong. She had carefully selected the most tender cabbage heart and leaves. Then she had done to return with hen grease and filaments of duck leg. But the plateful of tofu was really extraordinary. She had cut a ham in two and dug 24 small spherical cavities in which ones had placed balls of tofu. Okay. Before closing the ham and beginning to steam it. At the end of cooking, the whole flavor of the ham had passed into the tofu, while the ham itself was left out. After tasting this dish, Qigong evidently was conquered. He was conquered, totally. To be fair, with some of these translations, we've already lost chapters. Yeah, we probably lost whole paragraphs that we don't know about. This steamed tofu had an equally inspired name of poetry, tongue, and was a tongue poetry, and was called Full Moon Night on the 24 Bridges. If the girl had not had at his disposal the family technique called the orchid skims the point, her 10 nimble and delicate fingers would not have been in a position to cut 24 small balls in the fragile mass of the tofu. To do that demanded as much delicacy as to engrave characters on a grain of rice, or to sculpt a boat in a nutshell. It would have been easy to cut pieces of tofu in cube, but where had one seen square full moons? After the dinner, each went to bed. Qigong was astonished to see Guojing and Huangrong going into separate rooms. Ah, aren't you husband and wife? Why don't you sleep in the same room? Huangrong, who had not stopped joking with him without reserve, felt all embarrassed. Her cheeks blushing, she looked upset. Elder, if you continue to talk nonsense, I won't cook for you tomorrow. What's this? Qigong was astonished. What? Did I talk nonsense? After an instant's reflection, he realized. I'm old and senile, indeed, he said while laughing. You're clearly dressed as a girl, and not as a wife. You are yourself therefore promised to each other secretly, without the consent of your parents or matchmaker, or the wedding ceremony. Don't worry, I will be your go-between. If your dad does not accept, I'll provoke a duel and we'll fight. My goodness, for 7 days and 7 nights if we have to, until he yields. Qigong seems like a cool dude. I like him. Hongrong was precisely worried about this matter. She feared that her father would not like Guojing. The words of the old beggar filled her with joy, and she returned to her room, her face radiant. The next day, Guojing went back to the pine wood at dawn. He practiced to about 20 rounds with much sweat, but rejoiced at the progress he accomplished, when he suddenly heard a voice speaking behind the trees. Shifu, said a voice, we must have traveled more than 30 li this time, isn't that right? Indeed, replied another voice. You've achieved some progress in endurance. This voice seemed very familiar to Guojing, who then saw 4 individuals appear, of which the first one had white hair and a ruddy complexion. It was none other than his number 1 enemy, Liangzi Wang, the 1,000-year ginseng. He pesta internally and took to his heels. He pesta? But Liang Zuwang already had recognized him. Where do you think you're going? He cried while thrusting himself forward in pursuit. The 3 other men were his disciples. Seeing their master running after an enemy, they themselves split up in order to surround the young man. I need to get out of the pine wood and get back into the inn in order to be safe, said Guojing to himself, while running even faster. The first disciple of Liang Wang barred the way and shouted while crossing 2 palms. Little peasant, kneel! He attacked with a technique of Qin Na, taught by his master, and sought to seize Guojing to the chest. The young man folded his left leg lightly. The straight arm turned in, made a circle with his right palm, and struck powerfully outward. It was precisely the blow that he had just learned. Resisting the dragon meets regret. Oh. Yeah, he's using his move that he just learned, guys. Let's see how it works. See how good it is. His opponent felt the sudden power and attempted to dodge it. But it was so powerful that it broke his arm, throwing him a distance of 6 or 7 feet. Oh shit, he's super strong. And made him lose consciousness. Guojing, who never would have believed that his blow was going to be so strong, demurra forbids before resuming his race. What's going on? Mojo Jojo, I believed in you. Why? Surprised and irritated, Liang Zuwang jumped in front of him. Guojing had just left the pines when he found the immortal one in front of him. Very frightened, he himself got in position and launched once more his resisting the dragon meets regret. Pesta definition? I don't think pesta means anything. Yeah. The feminine form of pesto, is it? Yeah, Bigfoot, if you're so smart, what does this mean then? Wait, where is it? He pestered internally. Yeah, what does that mean? Alright, I was using the move against Liang Zuwang. Let's see what happens. Liang Zuwang did not know this blow, but in front of its power, knew that he could not handle it. He had to roll onto the earth to avoid it. Guojing took the opportunity to flee. When Liang Zuwang himself recovered, the young man had reached the front of the inn and screamed, Wronger, disaster! Here's the evil one that wants to drink my blood! Hongrong poked her head out the window. How did the old monster get here? She asked herself. That's good. I'll try out on him this new wandering strides that I have just learned. My love, she cried. Huh? Don't be scared of this old crust. Start fighting. I'll come to help you. We'll teach him a good lesson. He got in touch with his inner pesta? Gotcha. Love of Italian food, yes. Wrong doesn't know the power of this old monster, said Guo Jing to himself. That's why she speaks so lightly. But Liang Zuwang already had jumped on him. In front of the violence of the attack, the young man had no other option but to launch once more his resisting the dragon meets regret. Liang Zuwang twisted and dodged several feet to the side, but his straight arm was almost touched by the breath of the palm. It left a burning and painful track. The immortal one, frightened inside, was amazed that this kid, in the space of some months, had progressed so much. This must be, he said, due to the absorption of the precious blood of the snake. Yeah. This thought, the mitt outside him, and he... What? And he jumped to the attack. Guo Jing defended himself again with the same blow. Conscious that he could not oppose it, Liang Zuwang retreated. But seeing that the young man did not have at his disposal other such fearful blows to press his advantage, his fear lessened. Little idiot, he cried. Do you know only that one blow? Guo Jing tumbled right into his trap. Even this one blow, he replied, you still won't be able to avoid it. And he advanced, launching once again his resisting the dragon meets regret. Liang Zuwang dodged and jumped behind Guo Jing to attack. He turned and attempted to attack in the same manner, but his opponent was himself once more slipped behind him. Thus the young man, who knew only to attack in the front, was completely perturbed and did not arrive any more to face. Seeing him on the verge of losing, Hongrong cried, My love, let me take care of him. She sprang forward and interposed herself between the two fighters, attacking Liang Zuwang with palms and kicks, who returned the attack. Guo Jing retreated 2 steps to watch them. Hongrong had well learned this wonderful technique that was the wandering strides, but besides the fact that she had obtained it too recently to truly master it, Liang Zuwang was in fact a lot stronger than her. Thus, without the protection given by her soft armor, she already would have received several blows and certainly would have been injured long ago. Before even deploying the 36 movements of the strides, she was located already in a bad position. The disciples of Liang Zuwang, surrounding their elder injured brother, observed the fight and saw their master was winning, shouted out, the better to encourage him. Guo Jing prepared himself to assist Hongrong when all of a sudden Qigong was heard to shout from behind the window. His next blow is called The Nasty Dog Blocks the Road. Very surprised, Hongrong lives that Liang Zuwang, the legs firmly spread in the rider stance, the stretched fists horizontally, indeed taking the stance of the terrible tiger blocks the road. She couldn't prevent herself from laughing internally. Qigong changed the name of this blow. But how was he to guess that this would be that one? Have all the translators been translating from French? I don't think so. Why? Yeah, why would that be the case? They seem like just random people translating. So they could have translated from anything, really. Yeah, what if they've been translating from German or something? Who knows? Yeah, it's all gone wrong, guys. It's all gone wrong. It started out fairly good, but now... She heard then the old beggar shout again. And his next blow is the stinking snake inhales water. She realized that it was a matter of the green dragon inhales water, for which one lengthened the fist forward. That unveiled a rift to the back, in the back. Venerable Seventh had at pains finished to speak, that she already had slipped herself behind Liang Zuwang. He attacked effectively with Green Dragon Inhales Water, but as the girl, warned in advance, had the advantage and attacked from the back, He made himself safe only because of his exceptional technical mastery that allowed him to change position right in the middle of a movement and to fly himself further away. He landed on the tips of his toes, surprised and furious at once. "Who is the powerful master that hides in the shack?" he cried towards the window. "Why don't you show yourself?" You really don't want him to show himself. But there was only silence behind the window. Liang Zuwang lost himself in wonderment. How could this person succeed in predicting my blows? Fortified by the support of a great master, Huang Rong now feared nothing. She regained the initiative and launched herself into the attack. Liang Zuwang resorted to killer blows so that the girl herself was forced to give up the upper hand. Don't fear anything, Qigong cried then. He will do a monkey with a rotten bottom climbs to the tree. That's a nice name. Huang Rong burst out laughing, left the fist and attacked downwards. Liang Zuwang effectively had sketched a phenomenal gorilla climbs to the tree, and had after to have jumped in the air and attacked downwards. But Huang Rong had preceded him. Then, if he continued to jump, that meant that he simply was going to offer the head to the falling fists. He had to change his technique immediately. If in a fight the opponent knew in advance all your blows, it would not take long for him to overcome you. The immortal one, fortunately for him, was a lot stronger than Huang Rong, and this allowed himself to extricate from a bad situation at the last moment. Suddenly, he jumped back and shouted, "If you persist not to show yourself, I won't hesitate to be ruthless towards this girl." Changing his tactics, he rained down his blows like a hail in a storm, so much so that Huang Rong absolutely could not adorn, and that Qigong had not the time to call out his blows. Seeing his loved one in danger, reduced to dodging left and right, Guojing leapt forward and sent out once more his resisting the dragon meets regret. Liang Zuwang jumped back. "My love," said Huang Rong, "give him again 3 blows." She turned and went back into the inn. Guojing took position, awaiting the approach of Liang Zuwang, and no matter what technique the immortal employed, he returned it with a resisting the dragon means regret. His opponent not some could, but furious and entertained at once. "Where on earth," he asked, "did this dumb little fellow learn this strange blow? And why does he know only that one?" But even if he knew only one blow, the dumb little fellow held it in respect, and Liang Zuwang could do nothing. All too restaurant, therefore immobilized on their position. "Silly fellow," Liang Zuwang cried then. "You'd better watch out." He jumped on his young opponent, who turned to his many times tested formula. Now Liang changed direction in mid-flight, and suddenly struck out 3 acupoint piercing bones that sped towards the young man in 3 different directions. Guojing hurriedly dodged. Liang Zuwang took advantage to thrust himself forward with the speed of light and seized him by the nape of his neck. Very frightened, the young man struck an elbow blow at the chest of his opponent, but to his great astonishment, he felt the impression that his elbow had sunk itself in a soft mass like cotton. Liang Zuwang prepared himself to deal a fatal blow when he heard Huang Rong scream, "Old monster, look here!" Knowing that she was very crafty, he decided not to take any risk. He struck Guojing upon the Jianjing point so that he was unable to move before turning his head. He saw then the girl advancing slowly, and anxiously saw that in her hand was a bamboo stick, its green as clear as jade, which froze him in terror. "Hong," he stammered, stunned. "Grandmaster Hong." No, he knows. "So, why haven't you released him?" threatened Huang Rong. At the time, when he had heard someone calling out his blows before he even carried them out, Liang Zuwang already was very surprised, but he had not thought that it could be Qi Gong. Now, at the appearance of the green bamboo stick, he realized that the voice behind the window was indeed that of the person that he dreaded most in the world. Terrified, he quickly freed Guo Jing. Okay, yeah, what is this green bamboo stick, huh? What do you guys think? Brandishing the stick, Huang Rong approached him and said severely, Qi Gong wants to ask you how, while he deigned to speak, you dare again to do evil here. What impudence! Liang Zuwang tumbled to his knees. Your servant did not know that Grandmaster Hong was there, he stuttered. Even if I had courage, I never would have dared to offend Grandmaster Hong. This fellow is nonetheless very powerful, Huang Rong said to herself, astonished. How is it that he is so terrified of just the mention of Qi Gong's name? And why does he call him Grandmaster Hong? But she didn't allow any of her thoughts to appear and assumed a threatening air. And which punishment do you deserve? I beg you to please say some words in my favor with Grandmaster Hong. Say to him that Liang Zuwang recognizes his great sins and that he implores Grandmaster Hong to spare his life. To say a word in your favor, why not? But several words, this would be really too much to ask. In the future, you mustn't cause trouble for both of us. Your servant offended you in his ignorance, said Liang Zuwang. If you taken of not to hold some for me harshness. Why? In the future, indeed, I will not dare any more to do. Huang Rong, very proud of herself, smiled and re-entered the inn, hand in hand with Guo Jing. They found Qi Gong sitting in front of a well-laid table, a knife in his left hand, chopsticks in his right, in the process of treating himself. Qi Gong, said Huang Rong while laughing. He's on his knees and doesn't dare to move even a hair. Give him a hiding to unwind you. He certainly won't dare to defend himself. Give him a hiding? A beating, you mean? By the window, Guo Jing saw Liang Zuwang kneeling, petrified, with his 3 disciples behind him, also kneeling, all 4 looking miserable. He felt pity for them and said, Qi Gong, why not forgive them? Little good for nothing without character, Qi Gong reprimanded. Someone comes here to trouble you. You aren't capable of defending yourself. If you expect the placement and you want to forgive your enemy, you accept the placement and you want to forgive your enemy. To what that resembles, I ask you. Guo Jing wasn't sure how to reply. I'll take care of him, said Huang Rong while laughing. She took up the bamboo stick and went out of the inn. Liang Zuwang remained kneeling respectfully, his face full of fear. Qi Gong said that if you persist to do evil, thundered Huang Rong, and that was absolutely necessary to cut your throat today. Fortunately, my dear Jing has a good heart. He did not stop pleading your cause, so much so that Qi Gong finally agreed to spare you. She wielded the stick and struck him a blow on the buttocks, while screaming, You go in! Liang Zuwang addressed himself to the window. Grandmaster Hong, I want to see you, to thank you for sparing my life. Only silence greeted his plea. Liang Zuwang did not dare to rise and continued to kneel humbly. Shortly after, Guo Jing came out and waved his hand. Qi Gong is asleep, he said in a low voice. Do not disturb him. Then Liang Zuwang got up, shot a hate-filled look at the 2 people, and left along with his disciples. Wow. Huang Rong, heart full of joy, re-entered the inn. She saw Qi Gong laying on the table while snoring. She touched him on the shoulder to awaken him. Qi Gong, she cried, your magic precious stick has a wonderful strength. Now you not some done nothing. Why would you give it to me? Qigong raised his head, yawned, and said, I don't know why this is in an outline mode. You about it speak with your comfort, he said while laughing. That is the work instrument of your old man, a beggar without a dog-beating stick. What would that look like? Hongrong continued to tap it while simpering. You have such powerful gong fu. Those wicked ones flee from just hearing your name. To what serves you again to have this stick? You rotten imp, said Qigong while laughing. Quickly prepare me some dishes. I'll explain it for you presently. Hongrong obeyed and quickly went into the kitchen to prepare 3 small dishes. Right hand holding a wine cup, left hand squeezing the bone of a ham that he gnawed slowly, Qigong began. The proverb says, that resembles itself assembles itself. The fool Richards have formed a clan. What? The outlaws of the highway who rob the passers-by form a clan. Us others that freely pass our lives baking food leftovers. Let us form also a clan. I understand, exclaimed Hongrong, while clapping her hands, that old Liang called you Grandmaster Hong. Are you thus the chief of the beggars? Precisely. Us beggars. One we walk over, one launches the dogs on us. If one did not group together oneself in a band, how could one survive? The ordinary citizens in the north of the country are for the moment under the authority of the Jin. In the south, they are under the authority of the Song Emperor. But every beggar in the country, whether it be in the south or the north, interrupted Hongrong, are placed under your authority. Yes. Okay, so Hong Qigong is the leader of the Beggars Clan, guys. Yeah. Yeah, the Beggars Clan is in this book too. Qigong agreed with a smile. This bamboo stick and this gourd have been from generation to generation since the end of the Tang Dynasty until today. In other words, for several centuries ago, between the hands of the Grand Master of the Beggars Clan, this is as the jade seal of the Little Emperor, or the seal of now Mandarin Chinese. Oh, so it is the same dog beating stick? Yep, it's the same stick. It's the symbol of the beggar, the master of the Beggars Clan, or the leader of the Beggars Clan. Just as well you didn't give it to me, said Hongrong, sticking out her tongue. Why not? If every little beggar in the country came to find me, for me to sort out their affairs, that would be a catastrophe. You have good reason, Qigong sighed. As I am of a lax and lazy nature, the weight of Grand Master of the Beggars Clan is really too heavy for my shoulders. But I can't find a person to whom I can entrust it. Then I have well to do with. So that's why old Liang fears you so much. If all the beggars of the country came to give trouble to him, he would be in big trouble. If each one dropped a louse on his collar, that would trouble him until the end of his days. Qigong and Guojing burst out laughing. No, the old beggar said at last. Not just for that. He's also scared of me. Why is that? Nearly 20 years ago, he was committing an evil deed when I fell upon him. What evil deed? That old monster, said Qigong hesitantly, believed the section of the adage, gather the yin to nourish the young. He had obtained for himself several virgins, of which he violated their bodies, supposedly to obtain immortality. Okay. Oh, he raped a bunch of girls to obtain immortality. Okay. Not a good guy. What is that? To violate the body? Asked Huang Rong. The girl, whose mother had died in childbirth, had been taught by her father. After the treachery and escape of Chen Xuanfeng and of Mei Chaofeng, Huang Yaoshi, furious, had crippled his other disciples, and they had all fled. No others remained on Peach Blossom Island other than some mute servants. No one had therefore spoken to the girl of the things that happened between men and women. Since the day she had met Guo Jing, she felt a joy and an unspeakable softness in his company, a melancholy and an unbearable solitude when she was separated from him, even for an instant. She believed that to be husband and wife meant nothing more than never to part from each other. That was why, for so long, she had considered Guo Jing her husband, without knowing the nature of conjugal relations. Her question, therefore, put Qigong in great difficulty. Oh no, how's he going to explain it? To violate the body of the virgins, the girl insisted. This is to kill them? No, Qigong responded. When a woman undergoes such outrages, this is sometimes more painful than death itself. The proverb says, to be dishonored is grave, to die of hunger is nothing. That says, well, what I want to say. Hong Rong did not understand, not yet. Does that mean to cut the ears or the nose with a knife? Bah! Said Jigong, bothered. Not at all. Little imp, you better ask your mother when you get back home. My mother is dead. Ah, said the beggar. Then you will understand after your wedding night with our silly young fellow. Hong Rong reddened, understanding at last that it was a matter of shameful things. She said softly, If you do not want to explain, so worse. Therefore you fell upon the old monster in the process of committing this evil deed. Then itself, it is past then. Huh? Jigong, relieved to see that she did not put any more embarrassing questions, continued. Well, I intervened, that's right. I caught this rascal. I gave him a good thrashing and pulled out all his hair. Wow, nice. After, I obliged it to bring back these girls at their place and to promise solemnly that he would not recommence ever again. If I resumed it to do that, he would regret ever having been born. It would seem that, for all these years, he never broke his promise. That's the reason why I spared him today. He said then, goodness, did his hair grow back? Oh, yes, said Hong Rong while bursting out laughing. Pull out all the hair of the head. That would be really funny. All three finished their meal. Qigong, Hong Rong then said, now, even if you wanted to give me this bamboo stick, I wouldn't want it. But we cannot anyways remain close to you all our lives. Now, what if we come across this Liang fellow, and he said to us, well, little brat, last time you sheltered yourself under the name of Grandmaster Hong, and you hit me with this bamboo stick. Today, I'm going to avenge myself. I will pull out all your hair. What will we do then? When my Jing fought with him, this his one and only blow, resisting the dragon means regret. That is, of course, powerful, but that means little all the same, no? I am sure that Liang said in his heart, Grandmaster Hong has Gong Fu of an infinite power, but when he begins teaching a disciple, this is really not that terrible. Okay, she's trying to get him to teach Guo Jing more martial arts. I know well, said Qigong, that you hurl all these stupidities, provoking and threatening, so that I'll sign off all my skills to you too. Well, so long that you get ready some good dishes for me, I won't disappoint. Hong Rong, delighted, took Qigong by the hand to go in the pine wood. Qigong imparted then to Guo Jing the second blow of the 18 dragon mastering palms, called Flying Dragon in the Heavens. Okay, now he's learning a second move. In this move, it was necessary to jump in the air and strike from the top down, an extremely powerful attack. Guojing took 3 days to assimilate it. During the 3 days, Qigong took the snack occasion to about 10 more delicious placement than the other. What is going on? This is a great sentence, guys. He took the snack occasion to about 10 more delicious placement than the others. Huang Rong, for her part, asked nothing from him for herself, provided that he consented to teach her loved one. She was more than enough satisfied. In the space of a month, Qigong had taught Guojing 15 of the 18 dragon mastering palms, from resisting the dragon means regret to sighting the dragon in the field. Okay. So he's teaching him a lot of moves. Almost all of his 18 moves. These 18 dragon mastering palms were Qigong's ultimate skills. He had originally learned them from his master, instrumental, invented himself. The number of blows, of course, was limited, but each of them was full of exceptional power. At the time of the first Huashan tournament, when the 5 supreme masters had measured themselves, these 18 palms were not completely up to the mark, but they had already given rise to respect and general admiration. Thereafter, Qigong often had expressed his regrets. If he had concentrated all his efforts to perfect this technique some years earlier, the title of the first in the martial world might not have fallen to the Grand Master of the Chenjin sect, Wang Chongyang, but to himself. At first, Qigong had no intention to pass on more than 2 or 3 of these 18 palms to Guojing. What's up, Member Barry? How's it going? Yeah, you don't have any problem with the translation? Sometimes it's kind of iffy. Okay, so at first, Qigong had no intention to pass on more than 2 or 3 of these 18 palms to Guojing, which would already have far sufficed for him to defend himself. But Huang Rong was really an unparalleled cook. Every day she prepared new dishes of exceptional taste, never repeating herself, and the old beggar could not resolve himself to leave. It really is his weakness. He just wanted to give him like 2 or 3, to teach him 2 or 3 palms, but he's like, but I can't leave. I need to eat all of her food. So, day after day, he ended up teaching the 15 blows. Guojing did not understand quickly, but the little that he learned, he retained and repeated day and night, working with determination, so well that he achieved a good mastery of the 15 blows, lacking no more in power than time and practice alone could give to him. Thus, in a little more than a month, his Kung Fu had achieved such progress that he was no longer the same person. All right, he's hella good now. That morning, after breakfast, Qigong said while sighing, "Hey, my children, we've been together for more than a month. It's time we took leave of each other." But no, protested Huang Rong. I have many more small dishes for your taste. There is not endless banquets, but there is an infinity of dishes. I never have, of all my life, taught anybody for more than 3 days. This time I've done that for more than 30 days. If this continues, it'll be a catastrophe. How's that? Well, you will strip me of all that I know. You started a good work. Why not reach the end? Teach him the 18 palms. That would be an accomplishment. Pah! That would be an accomplishment for you two, but not for me. Huang Rong, full of worry, wondered what stratagems she could invent to get Qigong to teach the 3 remaining blows to Guo Jing, but the old beggar did not give her the time. Hitching his gourd over the back again, he left without speaking any further. Well, yeah. What do you guys think? I like him. I think he's and it seems like he can just come and go. He comes and goes as he pleases. Okay. If he doesn't want to stay, no one can stop him. But then he's also the master, the leader of the Beggars clan. So I guess he doesn't have much freedom. It must have been translated by Vietnamese or Cantonese. I think this is translated from French. Yeah. So I guess he had a French translation and then he translated it to English. Yeah, and his English is not that good. Yeah. Hopefully we don't get this translator for the later chapters. Guo Jing chased after him, but Qigong went so quickly that he had disappeared in a wink. The young man raced to the pines and cried, "Qigong! Qigong!" Hongrong had followed him and joined her cries to his. Suddenly, a shadow arose from the pines. It was Qigong, who addressed them angrily. "That? Do you have dirty kids to stick me to the truss?" What does that mean? "If you want me to teach you more, this is absolutely impossible." "You have already taught us too much," said Guo Jing. "I am more than satisfied. How could I wish to want more? It's only that I did not thank you once again for your kindness." He knelt then and kowtowed, striking the ground with his forehead several times. Qigong paled. "Oh, stop!" he cried. "That which I taught you is nothing other than a suitable payment for the small dishes that she prepared for me. There has never been a relationship of master and disciple between us." At that, he knelt also, and himself kowtowed in front of Guo Jing. Stunned, he attempted to kowtow again, but Qigong extended a hand and touched on a point under his armpit. He remained petrified, legs half bent. The beggar released him only after to have prostrated himself 4 times in front of him. "Remember, you," he cautioned, "never mention that you kowtowed to me, and that you are my disciple." "Oh, Memberberry, you're a college freshman starting intensive Chinese next week. Oh, good luck. What's your nationality right now?" Understanding that he had a stubborn character, Guo Jing didn't attempt to contradict him. "Qigong," sighed Hongrong, "you were so good for us. Now we must part. I had the intention to prepare you again small dishes when we would review ourselves, but unfortunately, I fear that this won't be possible anymore." "And why not?" Qigong asked. "Many people want to do evil to us. Leaving aside that old monster, Immortal Ginseng, there are many more evildoers. One day we will end up dying in their hands, or at their hands." "You're American? Ah, cool." "What is death?" Qigong said with a smile. "Everyone must die one day." "Of course," replied Hongrong while shaking her head. "It is not a big deal to die, but I'm scared that they would capture me, and learning that I received your teaching and that I cooked for you, they would force me to do them all these flat vouchers that I prepared you. This would be a stain on your reputation." Jigong knew very well that the girl was trying to trick him, to trick more skills out of him, but at the thought that someone might force her to cook while himself could not taste these succulent dishes, he couldn't prevent himself from feeling great anger. "Who are these villains that scare you?" he demanded. "There is," replied Huangrong, "a certain old monster of the Yellow River, Sha Tongqian. He eats in such a disgusting way. What a shame it would be for him to have my delicious dishes." "There's no need to fear Sha Tongqian," said Qigong while shaking his head. "In 1 or 2 years, this dummy, Guojing, will be stronger than him. There's nothing to fear." Huangrong mentioned the Tibetan monk Lingji and Peng Lianhu, to which Qigong replied again, "Nothing to fear." But when Huangrong mentioned the young master of the White Camel Peak, Ouyang Ke, Qigong seemed taken aback. He questioned her on the techniques and moves of this new opponent, before nodding his head. "That's indeed him." In front of the seriousness of his face, the girl's inquieta herself. What? Ah! "He's very powerful, isn't that right?" "There's nothing to fear from Ouyang Ke," said Qigong. "It's his uncle, the old Venom, that is fearsome." Oh, so Ouyang Ke's uncle is one of the 5 most powerful masters. "The old Venom, but no matter how fearsome, he cannot be stronger than you. Isn't that right?" Qigong didn't reply. He thought for a while before he stated, "At the time, we were equals, but that was 20 years ago. For those 20 years, he surely trained harder than me, who's lazy and gluttonous. But to beat this old beggar, nonetheless, won't be easy." "Then he certainly can't beat you." "We will see," said Qigong, shaking his head. "Good. Since the nephew of the old Venom, Ouyang Feng, is after your head, we must be careful. He will eat of your cooking for 15 days. But let's make one thing clear. If during these 15 days you present the same dish to me twice, I'll get up and say goodbye." Ah, she convinced him. He's gonna teach him for another 15 days. So it looks like Guo Jing's gonna learn the entire 18 poems. Good job, Hongrong. All right, I think that's a good time to stop. How did you guys like this chapter, huh? Look, we probably missed some things, okay? We missed some crucial information because of the translation, but I think we got the gist of it, okay? Basically, we met Hong Qigong, one of the 5 best fighters in the world, and he's teaching our hero Guo Jing a bunch of moves, teaching his the martial arts that made him famous. You don't remember who Ouyang Ke is? Ouyang Ke is one of the martial artists of in Wenyan Honglia's residence. Yeah, he's the guy who he's the guy who has a bunch of girls following him. If you remember that guy. You love this chapter? So much wisdom, so much profundity. Member Berry, he loved every moment? Wow. It was rapturous, thank you. Yeah, I thought it was rapturous too. The translation was so good. When will the next reading be? So it's every Monday, okay, at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Hong Chi-gong is one of the best characters. Yeah, I like him. Yeah, he's a very charismatic, likable guy. The Fool Richards. Yeah, what the hell was that? Oh, there's so many great lines in this translation. What happened? Like Mojo Jojo, the translator he was decent in the previous chapters. Or the previous chapter. What happened to him now? Maybe he didn't have the same editor? Anyway, so it looks like Guo Jing is super powerful now. All right. Let's end with a drink. So we finished our wine bottle last week. I have this today. It is sake. Some Nigori sake. Okay. It's coarsely filtered. The first translator was the last good translator. True. What happened to the first guy? Why did he stop? Why? All right. And cheers. Good. Not bad. Not bad. All right, guys. Well, hope you guys liked the chapter. Can't wait to read next time. Yeah. I'm glad that Guo Jing is super powerful now. Well, decently powerful. Yeah, I wonder who he'll learn from next. Okay. Yeah, maybe he'll learn from all of the 5. Well, I can't. He'll learn from the 4 the 4 top fighters in the world. Is it creamy? Yeah. Well, it's cloudy. A little sweet, not too sweet, which is good. Yeah. So how many of the 5 top masters did we meet? We just met Hong Qigong, right? Yeah, we just heard about the other ones, but the only one we met was Hong Qigong. Yeah, we know Huang Rong is the daughter of another one, Huang Yaoshi. And then Ouyang Ke is the nephew of Ouyang Feng, the Venom guy. Yeah. And then the divine, what was it? What was the divine guy? The central divine. He's a master of the Chenjin sect. So we're not going to meet him because he died. Okay. So there's one more guy, the emperor guy that we haven't met. Yeah, the Southern Emperor. So we only heard about that guy, but we don't know He's not related to anyone that we know of at the moment. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Hope you join in next time. I love you. And I will see you next time. Bye.